Oh, welcome to another edition of the Bill and Corey Show. Corey could not make it in today. He might be providing commentary. But I'm Bill, and this would be Corey if he'd be sitting there. Welcome back. It's been since April 4th since we had a show. Oh boy. Now we got, now we're back in business. So let's see. First question coming up. And you want to put up the first graphic? Yeah, it should show his graphic up. Yeah, okay, that shows a cylinder valve, and it's got like a little plug thing going. Well, and the customer was looking at that. You got some rusty stuff going on in there too. And this is for an ammonia cylinder, and they say, does the 1/4-inch female coupling stainless steel in CGA 240 outlet? I have a CGA 240 tank and a CGA 240 regulator, both male. I need an adapter to connect it. So he's looking at that and thinking that's the outlet fitting. And that really isn't the outlet fitting, that's a plug. And if you zoom in on the camera, is this hopefully centered in there? Is that in there? Okay. This is a CGA 590. We didn't have that's a 240 setting up here. So the plug is, that's what it is. It's got a little hex thing in there, lower a little bit. So it's got a little hex, and you use a hex wrench to take it out. Now what's tricky about CJ 510 is it's a left-handed thread. So you're going to go, what it looks like you're tightening, you're actually really loosening. Same with a 590. So he's looking at he's thinking that's some kind of coupling or fitting, and that's really a plug. I mean, you'd have those on nasty kind of gases. But it is a 240 connection in there. And you want to put up the second graphic? Yeah, that shows what a 240 connection looks like. It's got a 3/8 NGT on one side and a 1/4-inch male pipe taper on the other side, which you'd attach into your regulator. And yeah, it doesn't swivel like a normal fitting, so you have to like turn the whole regulator around. You can take the graphic off. And then here's what we got. And you have to try to zoom in on this. Down a little bit. Okay, that's a CGA 240 fitting. It's a 3/8 NGT, which is National Gas Taper. And that's used for making connections to gas cylinders. And this is I don't know if you can see that on there. That's a 3/8 NPT fitting. And you see that the NGT fitting is a little bit longer. Well, it's the NGT fitting is going to have some extra threads on there because the pipe thread fitting is only to be made a few times. That's the intent of that. Because when you put something together, you're not supposed to be taking it apart, putting it together, taking it apart, putting it together. So this has, it's like pipe thread fitting. It's got extra threads, so that allows for the threads, when they get worn down, you can still make a good seal on it. So that's why you have that. A lot of times you look at it, you probably couldn't tell a difference, except if you looked at pipe thread threading in a long time, you'd say, hey, you'd kind of notice that this is a little bit longer. Okay, and it will thread in. This is a coupling that has a 3/8 pipe thread fitting, so it will it'll thread in there nicely. And when the threads wear over time, you can see there's a bunch of threads on there. And if you were to put in a pipe thread fitting, you see there's less threads in here. Where this one, you'd have a bunch of threads. That has less threads. So this allows to be used and reused many times, and you can still use it and not have to worry about the threading on it. And now, when the customer sees that, if you see something odd, and probably the important thing of this question is the customer saw something odd. He's got a rusty thing on an ammonia cylinder, and wasn't quite sure what it is. See something that doesn't look right, don't start playing with it. Just in this case, you should call whoever supplied the gas cylinder to you and ask them, hey, what the heck's going on here? That can help you out. In this case, that's a right-handed thread, but if you had something like a CGA 510 fitting or 590 fitting, that's a left-handed thread, you could get in there and really screw things up. When you're loosening it, if you're trying to loosen the plug, you're actually really tightening it because it's it's not the righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. It's lefty-tighty, righty-loosey. So you could really kind of mess things up on that end. Next question is on what's the minimum bend radius for the LP50HS hose? That's kind of a mouthful. This is our Laser Pro hose. It's used for lasers. This has well, it has a 5-inch bend radius, and I guess I could pop this thing out. See that it's got, so it's got a pretty good bend radius. Yeah, it's pretty decent size. Now 5-inch bend radius is, it's really, you're going to have a 10-inch diameter thing there. So that's that. So this is a nylon core. It's a 1/2-inch ID nylon core hose, and it's really kind of lightweight because it's nylon. Now compare that to some other hoses we sell. Out of our standard hose that we sell here, it's our 6040 series. This is a 3-foot version of it. It's a stainless steel convoluted core. It's got a bend radius of 3 inches static. That's there, but a dynamic, that means when you have it pressurized, it goes up to 6 inches. So you got to keep that in mind when you're putting these in. And these have an internal diameter 1/4 inch ID. Like I said, it's convoluted stainless steel. It's pressure rated to 3,000. That Laser Pro hose is only good to, I guess, 2,000 PSI. And then another hose to show you. Oh, you got, Corey says, how much pressure can a nylon hose take? Thank you, Corey. That's 2,000 PSI. And then, this big bad boy. This is a 1/2-inch stainless steel. I don't even think it fits in the regular screen. This is a 1/2-inch stainless steel convoluted hose. And this is for high pressure. So you need 3,000 PSI, you got to use this big bad boy. So if you're hooking up the really high flow system, you would use this. This is actually rated at 3,500, but your CGA fitting is going to be rated at 3,000. So that's really about it. So this is a bend radius of 18 inches. It makes it kind of clumsy. So that's really a diameter of 3 feet. So you're looking like, if you're hooking a system up, this is a 6-foot hose. That's kind of how things go. So we naturally put elbows on the end to connect for your cylinder connection. And we put swage lock fittings. So it gives it a little bit of swivel, because hoses will have kind of a little kink to it and stuff. So that's it. And this is heavy. It's heavy. It's awkward. But that's what you got to do if you need the high pressure with the hoses. Then we have our mini manifold hoses. We sell these with our mini manifold. And these are Teflon line. We don't have the armor on it because this is for inexpensive, quick and easy manifolds. This is a bend radius about 2 inches because it's Teflon and it's smaller and it's not as much stuff going on. This is rated to 3,000. So it's, no more questions on that. This is a temperature range of -15 degrees Fahrenheit to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a really hot day, even with global warming. Okay, so that's it for the hoses. I think I covered all our hoses. Next one is, what does the acronym PGI on the 9402 panel stand for? Well, I'm going to first show you a real live panel. So I'm really going to get rid of this. This is one that we had along. I'm going to kind of compare things. So this is our old semi-gas kind of panel, and it's got a lot of neat little valves on it. So it's got, actually here, it's got a purge gas. I can operate things. It's got a purge gas. The PGI is for purge gas inlet. So that's where you have, this one's kind of complicated here. Semiconductor things, they always like to make them complicated. I don't know why. But you got purge gas coming in here, check valve. You can use regular camera. And then that comes down here. Here's the purge gas inlet valve. And these have color-coded, it says open and closed. That's closed, and then open, they kind of do it backwards. I don't know why open's red and closed is green. Seems like it should be the other way around. But that's purge gas inlet. Then this has a different low pressure isolation, low pressure vent. It's got everything. High pressure isolation, high pressure vent, ESO valve. And this is in our excess and obsolete inventory. If you want something like this, probably sell it to you for a bag of donuts. And then let's put up the next graphic. Okay, it's up. That shows a 9400 panel. That's a photo of it. And it shows you the different valves we have on there. On the upper part, you see the purge gas inlet. So that's set up. So yeah, you bring purge gas in, typically nitrogen from 50 to 100 psi. Then you've got a high pressure isolation valve right there. And that's to isolate the regulator. You have a high pressure vent. That's to help purge things out so you can purge out the inlet. And also has a low pressure isolation valve. I hope I got it. I can't see everything up on the screen. So yeah, so that's what that is. So you see something like that, and it's funny. We're trying to look around for other what the acronym PGI would stand for and other things. We really couldn't find anything. They thought it might have been process gas isolation, but it's really purge gas isolation valve. And that's all the questions we're going to cover for this week. Tune again in next week for another edition of the Bill and Corey Show. And Corey would say, set your VCR.